Hello there and welcome back to another episode of the import-friendly Sega Saturn channel. Now, this show aims to look at releases that have come out primarily for the Japanese market and see whether they're suitable for a more Western audience. This time around, I'm going to be taking a look at Warp's classic 1996 game, Enemy Zero. This game was first released in Japan. Originally, it was meant to be, I believe, a PlayStation game, but it turned out that Sony had pissed off Warp's CEO, Kenji Eno, I think he's called, and so basically they agreed on initial shipment of the game. Sony relinquished that deal and ended up saying that they were going to ship far less units than Warp wanted. So at a presentation, what they decided to do was change the PlayStation logo to a Sega Saturn logo. So that is the history behind why this game has ended up on the Sega Saturn itself. And it's actually quite an impressive game, this. If you've never played it before, have a little look at the footage that's running. This is basically a full motion video game where quite a lot of the time you're seamlessly interacting with items on a almost like Myst slash Toriko Mansion Hidden Soul style scenario, where it's full motion video. You pick up objects, have a look at them. If you need it, you take it with you, and then it might aid you on your quest a little bit later on. But there's also a section, reminds me a little bit of Alien Trilogy actually, where you're running around and presumably trying to avoid the alien infestation that is now on your craft. So the main draw of this game is, and what makes it sort of uniquely different from any other survival horror game around the time, is that the enemies are actually invisible from what I gather. I haven't really played much of this game. I actually find it quite freaky. And I always encounter my first enemy, as you'll see on the video footage here, down in almost like sort of a basement hold area, where the device that you've got, a little handheld thing, beeps away, and then it sort of gets stronger and stronger, closer together as I think the enemy's zeroing in on your position, and then will inevitably kill you. But I believe there is some sort of mechanism for actually being able to see the enemies and take course and action and stuff like that, because there is actually weapons on the game. But I think also a lot of the game maybe comes down to exploration and also avoidance as well. You can see in the footage a little bit later on here that I do actually find my way, bearing in mind I am playing the Japanese release of the game, which is this one here. This game is on 4 discs on the Saturn, so you have a video disc which is disc number 0. Let's see if I can find it in the box here. So yeah, disc number 0, which is written in the top corner here. We've moved past our booklets. I've put all the discs in the wrong order here, which I'm sure there's going to be plenty of OCD thinking why have I done that. So disc 1, game disc there. You've got your game disc 2, which is behind the manual there, but I've put it anyway, and disc 3, which is your final disc of the game. Now disc 0 is a video disc, so I think that basically just catches you up on the story and stuff like that. In the Japanese release of this game, you should have your spine card. If you haven't, then you'll probably not be paying as much as probably I did for this version here. I'm pretty sure I paid like 10, 12, 15 quid for this. If it hasn't got a spine card, you're probably going to be paying like £5 to £8 for it. So on the back it tells you how to play it with either the 3-dimensional controller or the 2-dimensional controller, which is quite cool that it uses that. You've also got like a little flyer in there as well, which might very well form up some sort of map as well, telling you what to do in the game. So that's quite handy to have. Make sure you do have that when you buy this. And also your booklet, which is actually quite thin. It's only a few pages long really. So yeah, it hasn't really got much in a way. It gives you the character introductions and stuff like that, and how the heads-up display works, and the video calling system in the game, which looks like it might be quite important to progressing the story. As you can see, sort of in the main hold where the main character wakes up, Laura, you don't get all the video feeds. They are cut off or unavailable, and I think some of them become more available as you find different video units throughout the ship area that you're in. Now, yeah, they've also got this inside it as well, which is like some sort of postcard, which I think you would send off back in the day with questions from Warp on there. And they ask you what formats you've got. Actually, they ask you whether you've got a 3DO. That's optimistic in 1996. An N64, and I think the other two are probably PlayStation and Saturn, I would think. So yeah, your other options are the NTSC version, which is North American, or alternatively the one like I've got here, which is the PAL version. I had a repro box printed up for this one here. This one came from somewhere else in Europe. Turned out it had loads of like sort of disc decay on it from loads of fingerprints that were left on it, so I wasn't best pleased about that really, but I did get it really cheap. I think I ended up paying like 26 quid for this, which is normal retail value for a PAL version. Can be anything from like 45 quid if you're lucky, up to 60-70 pounds if you want a pristine copy in the nice proper cardboard box. I'm not fussy. I like getting my Sat games as cheap as possible, hence why I ended up with that one originally, because that was quite cheap compared to the PAL version at the time. So the question is how does it play? You can stumble your way through this quite competently, to be honest. It's not difficult to work out what's going on, and it makes it quite clear when you pick up items that you're going to need to use that sometime in the very near future. I had it with a key card that I picked up, and then I stumbled on the fact that I needed to use it in an elevator. So that was quite intuitive and quite easy. There are plenty of guides available on the web for this game as well. So if you do get like mortally stuck, there is a guide available from any given sort of game FAQ site. So there aren't really any fundamental differences between the Japanese and the Western releases of the game. The cover art, I don't know. I mean, the cover art is the same really on both versions of the game. I actually quite prefer the PAL cardboard box to Saturn box set that you get here, because it's got, you know, the unique dual disc boxes which are only really available for a select number of games on the Saturn. And you know, just, you know, you feel like you've got a bigger product in your hand. You feel like you've got something a little more special, I find, versus the Japanese one. The Japanese one's far easier for storage. In one of these boxes you can't really go wrong because it is easily replaced should you break it. The PAL Saturn one, good luck. NTSC one, good luck. Those North American cases I think are the only thing that's worse than the PAL Saturn cases. How they didn't learn from the Sega CD, I do not know, but that's a story for another time. So, my recommendation, do I recommend Enemy Zero if you just want to cheaply experience the game? Well, yeah, I do. I do really recommend Enemy Zero. I think it's a fantastic game, some good content there. It does linger and lumber somewhat, as you know, it's not quite as long as you think it is. A lot of the disk space is zapped up by the video footage rather than the actual game itself. The gameplay is not actually that long. If you stripped all the videos, there'd probably really be only a couple of hours worth of game there, I think, if you knew exactly what you were doing. Bearing in mind that if you did want to play it as cheap as possible, there is the explosive PC version, which is quite commonly available, I think. I remember selling that in the Game Station days for like $1.99, I'm sure it was. It was a cheap game to buy. But purists will want to play it on the original format, which is naturally the Saturn. And I think that it stands quite well in the Saturn's library of games of like unique sort of little gems, and it is deserving its place in any retro gamers collection. Should you feel the need to seek this game out and buy it, it is readily available on eBay. It's Retro Collect, a website which logs rare games, and pretty much every retro video game. It says that this game is very rare. It's not. It's actually quite obtainable. And out of all the cardboard box games out there for the Saturn, which I think there's 4 or 5 of them, it's the easiest one to obtain. At any given point, there are copies on eBay floating about. So if you snipe one during the day, you'll probably get a good price on it. If you catch one towards the end of the month, you're probably going to be paying quite a bit more for it. But like I said, you can buy a Japanese version of it. The American version is quite expensive, as the PAL version is, so you're not really going to cut any corners for an English language version by importing it from America. So yeah, I think pick yourself up a Japanese copy of it if you're not really that fussed about playing it too much, you know, and playing it perhaps with the aid of a guide if you haven't really got time to sort of stumble your way through. But yeah, I strongly recommend this game for the Saturn, and it should be in every Saturn owner's library. So that's Enemy Zero. Last time you caught me chatting about Deep Fear as well, and the time before that was Toriko. And I'm going to be covering some more games in the near future, so check back on the channel, subscribe if you want to sort of catch some other Saturn games that are going to be easy to play for the Western market. I'll see you in the next episode.